Do you sense like a sterility coming in because of AI, or are you seeing AI elevating your own personal work, but also that of your students?
Okay, so I have an example from my own
Please.
work, but let me just address the students. What I really don't appreciate, and this is with colleagues too. So I got this crazy long-winded response from a colleague in an email that made no sense because I know her and I know her tone, and I had asked her a really straightforward question, and I felt like she had done this thing where she was like, well, she was uncomfortable with what we were talking about, and so she popped it into ChatGPT to tone it down or to create a softer tone. Anyway, don't appreciate that, and I also don't appreciate like when I get essays or just I see it a lot in discussion boards, right? So I try not to do discussion boards anymore at all with these asynchronous classes, but when you get that outline kind of format in a response from a student and they haven't used it, even though I do say as well, like I say, you can use it if you cite it. If you are sophisticated enough to kind of know what you're doing with it, please tell me about it. Like, tell me about like how you used it. But a lot of times what I get is just, very empty responses. So I teach a film class where I have 10 films that I just absolutely love. And I gush over, to the students and I say, hey, I want your authentic viewing experience. Yes, we're going to learn about lighting. Yes, we're going to learn about sound and all of these other things. But I really want to know, like, how did you feel? Like, how did I even use her now? Spike Jonze is her. So we're super meta about it. But I really want to know, how do you feel? I really don't appreciate getting a canned response. But I hate the outline, the chat GPT, I'm like, what are these bullets? I asked for like one paragraph of I don't need bullets, of every single vocab word.
Bullets are not part of a paragraph. No.
But my example from my own experience with the book, which it's so interesting. Like I didn't think about it until like when I look back, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I finished that book right when people were like, look, we can use AI to help us write books. So I'm like, I'm so glad I finished that. But when I went back to edit and I used it as an editor or with some parts, which was impossible almost, so it almost took more work than just my regular editor. So anyways, but when I did some experiments and I changed some wording, I changed some dialogue, I know exactly, because I just did like a whole read through of this book again. So I'm finally back. Finally, it's been almost 3 years, finally back to this novel. Did a whole read through and I know exactly where I had AI help me. And I'm like, this character would not say that. Like, what wacky thing happened here? And I was like, oh, that's when I was experimenting and having it help me with a little dialogue. And it was so like snarky and weird. And like, it just wasn't me. It wasn't my pacing. It wasn't my voice. It was so interesting to see because when I was doing it, like, even though I knew what I was doing and I knew that, I'm kind of playing around with it, it stood out. And so looking back on it, it makes me realize like, you're not really getting away with AI writing when you're publishing, it's okay sometimes. Like I love being able to use AI in new and interesting ways as an editor. And sometimes it's a much better, it's a way better resume writer, anything that's kind of standard.